This morning, I'd like to welcome Jeff Gothard to the pulpit first, and then Ellen and Bart Bean, and they will speak about their own experiences of love, and I will leave them to tell their own stories. So, Jeff, come on down.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, this is kind of fun. That's okay. Okay, this is going to be challenging because there's supposed to be two of us, and one's not here. So you just have to visualize beautiful red hair, my wonderful wife, and what she was going to say. So I'll tell you first what she says. Love over time does change, and that's why it's a mystery. This is Lizzie's. That's why it's a mystery. You kind of have to bear with me. She says that when we were first married, it was like she felt like it was an amazing roller coaster ride. The world was wide open, and we were unstoppable. It was scary but fun, and passionate and joyful, and lots of Sunday mornings reading the paper in bed. Remember those one time? Wink, wink. Then the real relationship started, and we tried to get pregnant, and it didn't work. But why? It was really one of those times where we're like, that's what we're wanting to do, and how can this not be happening? So the soul searching of why did we really want to be parents? Were we supposed to be parents, or were we just doing it because that's what people do when they get to that age? And we delved in deep and realized that we wanted a parent together, and having a biological child wasn't the issue. It was that we wanted to raise a child together and cause a deeper understanding of our lives and our living together and wanting to build our lives together and add to our excellent time that we were having. Well, as many of you know, we ended up having 3 biological gifts who are the center of our lives, but raising Grayson and Abby and Noah has taken time away from our relationship sometimes, which everybody knows what that's like. We don't get those Sundays in bed with the paper anymore, and we have sometimes, but we have to work hard at squeezing them in, and 20 years is a long time. All great recipes need new sauces now and then. She's good at that. She knows. As you can tell by the fact that Jeff is reading my notes, we rely on each other differently than in the early stages of our relationship. It used to be I would count on him for pleasure, laughter, sex, fun, conversation, physical strength. Now, well, it's more work. He's always there for me, and I don't have to think about it. When my mom called to say my dad was in the ER, I didn't have to worry about what Jeff's reaction would be. I knew he would support me in whatever I needed to do. He's there for me no matter what. Perhaps we're not as romantic and sexy and spontaneous, but we are purposeful, committed, and caring. I got work to do. Someone, you find all kinds of things out when you write about your marriage. Someone once equated it to being an even pilot light versus the roaring flame of passion. Whoa. Okay, I got work to do. Don't get me wrong, we still have sparks, but our energies are more focused on others with a calm understanding that we're there for each other all the time. And it feels like comfy PJs and slippers at home for Netflix rather than going out to dinner on a show. Yesterday, people have been married. How many people have been married for a little while? Like some, yeah, okay. So I'm preaching to the choir. That's good. Okay. Yesterday, Jeff and I and the kids went with Karen Nichols and Ellen Young to visit some of the detainees. I don't know if people know about the detainee visit program we do. And we hadn't been, and we went yesterday, and it seemed really fitting for us to spend Valentine's Day visiting people who had no one to visit them. And our children came with us, and we were really proud of the way they went out of their comfort zone and said, okay, we're going to go visit people we don't even know. We don't have any idea what's going on there, and go to a prison, basically. So it was a good thing. And now we spent that morning that way yesterday, and we thought about how much we love each other deeply, and we want to raise our kids, and now try to spend what little precious time we have here on Earth. And we had a conversation with 5 of us coming home from there, and it was amazing. We were talking about family and love between people and the stories that we had heard from the detainees and the connections and dedication that people have. It was about love and life and living, and we were really talking instead of, you know, that thing of parents and kids, and the kids are like, oh, I don't want to hear what you are talking about. They were really engaged, and we love them so much because they can do that. So now, going in our next phase, we're working on what are we going to do next? How are we going to, you know, because they're going to move and go off and do their lives and go to college, and Grayson's going to leave sooner, but they'll all be gone. So we are working on making other connections and doing other things to make our lives be meaningful and conscious and dedicated to making progress. In fact, in our vows, when we got married, it was 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, and we said in the vows, we look forward to the day when everyone will be able to be married. You know, we just put that in, had our rabbi married us, and we had, it was a friend of ours, and she had us put it into the ceremony, and then we got to see that happening. And I've been able to videotape people getting married who were together for 25 years and could not be married. And I thought that was excellent. So we want to know how we can be fully developed as ourselves and a caring couple that still laugh and enjoy each other's company. And it's really hard, but any long-term relationship and partnership is hard, and it takes work and the ability to hug and laugh and say, I'm sorry, or, hey, that's me, I'm responsible for that. And I only hope that our kids can find partners with whom they can build strong, satisfying lives, too. And we hope that we're able to model for them what is it like when things go wrong. We're camping, you know, we're driving down the coast, it's raining mud, you know, and we're all huddled in our minivan, and we know that the road is gone that we're trying to get to the campground on, and we can either argue with each other and be angry and frustrated and, you know, just make it a miserable time, or we just trusted in the mystery of the universe that it's going to find us the right things to do. And we wanted to model that for our kids. Like, okay, what are we going to do now? This isn't working. We got to figure it out. So we found a magical place because of that we would have never gone to. But we stuck together and we worked it out. And we found a place by a creek that was a little campground with kind of pop-up tents already made, and we didn't have to put up a tent in the rain. In the morning, the kids got to explore the creek, and we would have never found that place. So those are the kinds of things in relationships. You just keep working on it and finding answers in yourselves. So now we find that the secret of happy partnering is the ability to give and receive kind touch, massage, and, you know, just holding each other. The ability to talk about feelings, a good sense of self and the boundaries, a sense of humor, or not taking ourselves too seriously. And as we change and we get older, it's hard to stay in, you know, relationships. We focus on it and we spend time working on it, like a garden, and just growing it. We're lucky to be able to find each other at all, and it's been a co-creation of time, 21 years, and she wishes she could be here and give me a hug. But, you know, but this is one of those spaces in our togetherness where you can witness the winds of heaven dancing between us, between here and LA, until I go and pick her up at the train. And you know, the other thing is timing. You never know. I was 33, and I was thinking, I'm not going to get married. I want to be like a cowboy, just run around and do whatever I want to do all the time. But that can change. Sometimes you meet someone who's really special, and they say, you know, no, you're going to get married with me. Everything's going to be fine. And I went, you know, that's a good idea. Okay. But and it was a thing of somebody meets me at the Renaissance Fair. I'm dressed up like a leprechaun, you know, and I see someone I haven't seen in a long time from school. She says, "Hey, Jeff, what's going on? Why don't you go to a party at Liz's house?" You know, it was, Renaissance Fair had maybe 5,000 people there. The odds of me even seeing her there, or her even recognizing me, were really small, but that changed every single thing in my life. So you just don't know. You know, even when things look like they're not working, the fact that you're open to the universe and you want things, you know that you deserve good things to come to you, you'll find things. Something will happen that's positive and make you feel alive and willing to try things that are risky, or, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, but you want to learn to be somebody that can be loved and can love. So, and then the children come, and it's a whole another adventure of unconditional love. Whatever it is that they're coming, we can't pick them. They just show up, and we go, wow, look at these cool people. They live in our house. And we just hope that that they get along with us enough of the time that, you know, we can, you know, get the trash taken out once in a while, wash a dish or something. And we do have really fun times with them that we couldn't have predicted. We just have to see what they're like and roll with it sometimes. And we really are lucky. So, and then the communication part of always being able to stop, and we do something in our house. I don't know if everybody, how many people have family meetings in their house? It's unanimous. Some people, I think it's because of Lizzie's background in organization of giant healthcare systems, but it does help a lot with 5 of us, because we will sit down and say, okay, what are we doing? How is this working? What can we do to make things get better? Or, you know, and I think it's going to be helpful for them when they grow up, because they'll know about how to communicate with their people, their partners that they have, and it has made a big difference for us too. But that communication part has to be woven into your relationship, make it like a fabric. And it's not always easy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Lizzie and I went to counseling at one point because before we even had our kids, because we just was like we didn't learn how to communicate as well as we could, and we worked on it and got really much better at it. So it's also the not being afraid to say, hey, we got to fix this. What are we doing here? And that isn't always easy, but it's worth it. And then church keeps us connected and helps us to do things like we did yesterday. We wouldn't probably have just woke up in the morning on Valentine's Day and said, time to go visit detainees in the prison and see what it's like. But being able to see a guy, and Noah and I were talking to a guy named Bashir, and he was from Somalia, had 5 children. None of them even knew if he was alive. You know, it really put it in perspective for us about how important having our family and how lucky we are to live here and have the freedom. This guy couldn't even tell them that he was alive at all, and they wonder, oh, Dad went away, we don't know what happened to him. So the being in the church, making us try different things and think about helping other people or just understanding their experiences has made it richer for us to, and also gave us chances to help. So that's it. She's not here, but that's what she would have said. And we really love all the people here too. It's been so much fun to be part of this. And ever since, I mean, and I'm one of the people who is UU since my mom said, oh, you're UU. I didn't do anything else and have to come here and recover from anything. And so I really am very happy to be part of this. And I've met so many amazing people, and you guys are all terrific. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that very much. My name is Bart Bean. I'm the stand in front of the group and talk part of the partnership, and my lovely wife Ellen is sitting in front, making sure I tell the truth. I wanted to start briefly because something that Glenn and I talked about a little bit earlier this morning. I was born a Unitarian, and watching the children here this morning and having Caitlin listen to Caitlin's story and then having them go back, I was reminded that I went to a Unitarian Universalist Sunday school. I learned about other religions. I learned about other peoples. I learned about the fellowship of man. My parents showed me that rather than try to tell me. When my dad died, this wonderful black man came to the house with this little statue kind of thing in it, and it said it was from whatever it was, the NAACP, and it was for Mr. Beans. He'd added the S to my father's name, but it was so beautiful that he was recognizing my dad for my dad's work on equality. And I was talking to Glenn because I was a medic in Vietnam. I went to Vietnam in 1965 for the adventure. I was pretty sure it was going to be about 6 months and I'd come home and everything would be fine. But it wasn't that way. And I wound up being both a section leader and also working in a Vietnamese hospital. And what I've realized over the years is that my Unitarianism and what I learned as a child affected every part of my life. After we did the Marines, that we took care of the Marines, I worked in an operating room, we would then take care of the Vietnamese prisoners. And then when I had time off, I would go with another friend and we would go to the Vietnamese hospital in downtown Da Nang and work there. And it was nothing to me. And the reason it was nothing to me is because I was taught that love is the answer. Whatever the problem is, love is the answer. When in meeting Ellen, I have my own personal experience, and about 5 years ago, my partner at the time for 30 years, was dying in a hospital bed. And, I finally got her to hospice and she passed on Thanksgiving morning. And when they called me to tell me, I both laughed and cried at the same time because she was so sick that I wouldn't have kept her on a bed. But on the other hand, my heart was broken. And 2 weeks later, my brother died, and my only brother, and much younger than me, and unexpectedly. And I found out from going back there to Springfield, Ohio, that he had been a hoarder for years and years and years, and had never let anybody in his house. And it broke my heart because I wanted to be closer than that to my brother, and I was unable to do that. But love in my life has been this incredible force. It is the most powerful force on the planet. We can't see it, we can't touch it, I can't make it happen, I can't unmake it happen. It's amazing to me. And I was working at Hoag Hospital, and Ellen and I had seen each other for years and sort of, hugged when we saw each other, and nothing, just a nice person, And I'm in the cafeteria, and I see her there, and I said, have you been getting any good loving lately? And she said, she said no. And I thought, gee, how disappointing. That's too bad. She's so adorable. Why isn't she getting any loving? And then as she's walking away, she says, do you know I'm single now? And I yelled across the cafeteria, I know now. Okay. Now, the next part of the story has two parts to it. There's my part and there's her part. My part is that she came by my office 2 days later on purpose, walking past where I was working, and sort of like a salmon lure, just going down like that. That's my side of the story, okay? Okay. Well, I was hooked. I was talking with a couple of people. I said, I gotta go. And I got up and I walked out and I said to her, I'm getting ready to go see my children in Seattle, but after I come back, can we go to a movie and, go out? And she said, well, yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that. And, that was the beginning. What I know now is that the opposite of love is not hate. It's never been hate. It's always fear. It's always fear. And throughout my life, when I can overcome my fear, I can be loving. When I came back from Seattle, I'll tell you, my children, I love my children. I've been the birth of every one of my children. It's quite an amazing experience, by the way, and I'm so grateful to it. I have so much love in my life. But I bought this shirt from Indonesia, where I had been with my stepson, who has sent me over to Indonesia to be with him for Christmas. And I'm wearing this shirt, and it's this batik shirt that's like this, cubed, okay, that kind of arrogant kind of big shirt, and I took a selfie, and I sent it to my son. I said, I'm getting ready to go out on my first date in years and years and years. And he said, he said, how is she going to hear you over the shirt? Which I thought was perfect. But the actual reality is that she did hear me over the shirt. And not only did she hear me over the shirt, but, through the process of overcoming our own reluctance and fear, we found ourselves falling in love and being in love. and enjoying each other's company. And again, it's that whole thing about, it's not about how old we are or aren't. To me, it's all in my head. It's all this false information. I'm as happy in love now at 70 as I ever was in my life. I may not be, there's some things I may not, well, never mind. I'm going to that. But the fact is that I'm just as much in love as I ever was. She wanted to have a wedding. Well, I was not interested in getting married. I thought, well, I don't need to get married. I'm 70. We're not going to have kids. What difference does it make? But I said yes. Okay. And then she wanted a big wedding. I thought, oh, we could just go to the city hall, in my head. I'm not saying that to her. I'm saying we could just go to city hall. And then I said yes. And what happened was that we got our families together, and all of my children, and all of my grandchildren, and all of her nieces, and all of the people that love us. And we wanted you all there. You were all there in our heart. We had no room for you, And I would not have given myself that if I had stayed in fear. That's it. Thank you.